everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla and it's time to crack into a good book. So today's author spotlight, I figured I would do, a little bit more like high fantasy, because I know I do tend to talk about a lot of urban fantasy just because I like it so much. But I figured I'd do like a little something different. So today's author spotlight is going to be about Brian McClellan. So I think he was actually a student of Brandon Sanderson at some point. And you can kind of like see that reflected in the unique magic system. So the first book series, I guess, of his that I'm going to talk about is the Mane Trilogy. So we have the first one, Promise of Blood, the second one, which is the Crimson Campaign, and the third one, which is the Autumn Republic. So this trilogy is kind of inspired, I think, by the French Revolution. So there's like a lot of war and just battles and stuff. So like it's fun. But we have like a really unique magic system here. So we've got like several different types. So we've got the powder mages, which basically like you can snort gunpowder and have like enhanced senses and like reflexes, and you can they can ignite like powder barrels or whatever from like quite a bit away, and they also like can kind of steer the trajectory of bullets. So that's it's unique. I haven't seen anything like that before. And then we have the privileged, which are like sorcerers, and they're more of your typical mages. They can manipulate elements, so like more common, I guess. And then we have like these bone eyes, which are I think it's kind of like blood magic, if I'm recalling correctly. It's been a little bit since I've read this, but yeah. So it's like several different types of magic, which like you don't see all that often, and it's just super cool. There's also like some gods and like and whatnot involved in this, so that's pretty fun. I don't want to get into too much to avoid spoilers here, but so this basically starts off with one of our generals, Tomas, I think is how you say his name. So he like basically leads a coup and overthrows the king because the king was like executing nobles, I think. But yeah, so generally it's about war. We also have technology, like we have guns, we have cannons, etc. Now I do think some of these earlier books are like more focused on the male characters, but like, I mean, I don't really, like, that's totally fine with me. There are some female characters like Valora and Ka-Poel, or Ka-Pol. I'm not really sure how to pronounce these because, again, fantasy character names are kind of like, I don't know. I'm just doing my best shot here. But yeah, so like they get a little more screen time as the books progress, and like in the second series that I'm going to talk about. But like all of these books are immensely readable. Like I don't remember ever having a slow moment in any of them, and like these are fairly chunky books. Probably I think all of them are around like 600 something pages, but I have not encountered like a dull moment in any of them, which is kind of says a lot for just like how readable and like easy to access it is. So that's generally like what this first series is about. We'll just like pull them all up here. And I seem to remember this kind of like ties things up pretty well. This is the third book in the trilogy. It's described as like flintlock fantasy, so that's kind of fun. And then we have the next series, which is the Gods of Blood and Powder. So the first one is Sins of Empire, and the second one is Wrath of Empire, and the third one in the trilogy comes out, I think, in December, and it's called Blood of Empire. So this takes place like 10 years, I believe, after the Powder Mage trilogy. So like if you're gonna read this, definitely read the Powder Mage trilogy first, so you know like who these characters are and just kind of like the backstory going into this. I think actually this Gods of Blood and Empire series is better even than the Powder Mage trilogy. Though I think I've rated all these books 4 out of 5 stars, so like I do really like all of them. And we do get, like, we see some of the older characters from the Powder Mage trilogy come back, and we get new characters, some of whom are, like, super cool. I think Valora is more focused upon in this series, which I like. She's a pretty cool character. We also have a newcomer, Ben Stike, who's, like, a mad lancer, and I really like reading about him. Yeah, I don't want to get too much into the plot because it kind of spoils what happens in the Powder Mage trilogy, which, we don't want to do that. But I will just say, like, these are all really fun books. High fantasy, flintlock fantasy, unique magic systems, just super cool. So he also has recently published, like, an urban fantasy kind of, it's more like novella length, I think. I have not personally read it. I do want to read it. I think it sounds pretty good, but like I think we have like a supernatural collection agent. So I think we have various types of magical creatures. I'm not really sure. It's set in Cleveland, I believe. And then like I think somebody steals something and like he is required to track down that thief along with the help of like a djinn. So that's like about the extent of my knowledge for that, but it looks really good. I think it's available through Kindle Unlimited right now. I don't know about Prime Reading, but I think it could be worth a shot if you're interested in like a fun urban fantasy type book. Like I said, I like urban fantasy a lot, so like I do really want to get to this at some point. Yeah, so I think that kind of covers it here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you read any of these books or like think you might pick them up. I hope you're reading something good and having an excellent day. So I will see you in the next one.